Today, we're going to talk about how lenders can sometimes advertise misleading interest rates. We're also going to talk about whether discount points are worth it to be paid or not. So one of the things that people are looking at, especially buyers looking for a home and also their agents, is they're shopping around for interest rates. I hear this all the time. Now, the one thing that you really want to be careful about is misleading advertising and interest rates. If you see a rate at like 3.75 or even 4.75 in today's market, you're going to need to ask, is that including discount points? Will I have to pay extra? How much more out of pocket do I have to get that rate? So that sticker price that's on there as an interest rate isn't necessarily the real interest rate without paying for discount points. And discount points can be very, very, very expensive. And a lot of times I've seen in the past buyers who go to closing and don't realize that they have a surprise charge on there because the lender was not fully transparent about what the loan costs were to obtain that interest rate. So make sure when you are comparing one lender to another that you're comparing apples to apples. Personally, being in the industry as long as we have, we only work with lenders that are extremely transparent, and they provide a complete loan estimate with all of your closing costs and everything you can expect to see on the closing statement, and that is something that is disclosed up front. So if you ever have a lender who is hesitant of sending you a loan estimate or doesn't want to show all the costs or it's kind of not giving you the information, it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So just be really careful about that. So what are discount points? Discount points are a way to buy down your interest rate. For example, if you want to buy down 0.25% in your interest rate, so let's say from 6.5 to 6.25, you generally need to pay 1% of the loan balance in order to get that rate down. So for example, on a $400,000 loan, 1% equates to $4,000 to get your rate down 0.25%. So understand the math, and obviously buying down interest rates, you can buy down more than just 0.25 point, but that can get really expensive really fast. Discount points are not to be confused with loan origination fees. Those are fees that are charged by the lender. Those also should be disclosed to you up front. So the next thing I want to talk about is, are discount points worth it? Are they worth it to pay? Sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no. So what you want to do is figure out and calculate your break-even point. How many months do you have to pay that mortgage for you to get back and recoup the amount that you're paying upfront for discount points? So you want to think about things like, how long are you going to hold the property, right? Are you going to refinance later? Are you going to be paying off that loan sooner than your break-even point? So these are all the type of things that you want to think about when doing your break-even analysis to determine if it's right for you or not. Red flags you want to look out for are interest rates that require you to pay discount points. Also, if you have a discount point that's labeled as something else, maybe a fee with no clear benefit, something that doesn't look like it should be there, ask about that. Make sure you understand what that is. Also, you want to make sure you know the true APR, which is the true cost of the loan. So if they're not advertising an APR and they're just putting some kind of marketing rate up there, this is your interest rate, that's not really the APR, which is the true cost of the loan that you want to compare. So when you're comparing multiple lenders, you want to get a full loan estimate from each one of them and compare the numbers side by side so that you make sure you're comparing apples to apples. Yes, it's a little bit more work, and obviously these are things that first-time home buyers and people that aren't in the business don't always know. Even some agents aren't aware of this. So in review, you always want to compare interest rates with or without points. You want to ask for APRs. Make sure you're shopping with multiple lenders and you compare them side by side. Most really top agents such as ourselves are in the business so long that we've worked with all kinds of lenders from A to Z, and we generally have really quality lenders in our Rolodex that we can connect you with. So we know which banks are more transparent, which ones are harder to deal with, which ones take longer to close, all kinds of stuff. So, get a good real estate agent who can advise you properly. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and follow us, and we will keep the good content coming as always.